The head coach just confirmed a devastating decision about the offensive leader that flips the entire outlook of this franchise. But that's not even the worst part. That win we just celebrated, it cost us critical draft positions that could shape our future for years. And while the front office deals with these impossible choices, a veteran from the trenches just dropped the truth about what really went down on that field. You won't believe what's happening behind the scenes. And check the pinned playlist in the first comment so you don't miss a second of this ride. Let's go! News 1. Jaden Daniels out for the season. I can't believe we're here again. On Monday, Dan Quinn confirmed what we all fear, but didn't want to admit. The star quarterback won't take another snap this 2025 season. That dislocated left elbow he suffered a month ago? It's officially shut him down. And you know what's the most frustrating part? This kid wanted to play. The number 2 overall pick in the 2024 draft, of course, he'd be out there with his squad. But here's the part that's been keeping me up at night. Now I gotta ask, is this really the best move for a quarterback in just his second year? The timeline is brutal when you break it down. November 2nd, he comes back from the hamstring against the Seahawks, and in that same game, he dislocates the elbow on a sack. After missing a full month 3 games plus the bye, he returns December 7th against the Vikings. And what happens? I think this situation exposes something bigger than just injuries. We're talking about the 2023 Heisman winner, the guy who instantly became the franchise quarterback this team's been chasing for decades. The same guy who led the team to the NFC Championship game against the eventual Super Bowl champs, Eagles, in his rookie year. Think about what he did last season. 17 regular season games, 3,568 passing yards. And that's not even counting the 891 rushing yards and 6 more scores on the ground. Offensive Rookie of the Year numbers. Star in the making numbers. Hope restoring numbers. And now, a sophomore season completely wrecked by injuries that maybe, just maybe, could have been handled better. But here's what's really messing with my head. Here's where I think there are 2 ways to look at this. 1. You protect the long-term health of your most valuable asset. On the flip side, you're robbing a 24-year-old quarterback of valuable reps, real game experience, the chance to build chemistry with his receivers, and learn Cliff Kingsbury's system. And you know what scares me the most? That this injury pattern becomes a narrative. Because in this league, once you get labeled as injury-prone, that stigma sticks. Doesn't matter how talented you are, how much upside you've got. If you can't stay healthy, you can't help your team win. Mariota's going to start the rest of the way. But let's be real, you're out of your mind if you think Mariota is the long-term answer. He's a bridge, a temporary patch while the real QB of the future heals up. The question nobody's asking, but everyone should, is this: how does this affect the locker room's mindset? When your offensive leader, the guy who was supposed to bring this franchise back to relevance, is on the sideline watching the rest of a disaster season unfold, what message does that send to the rest of the team? I think this organization is at a critical crossroads. On one hand, they've got to protect their investment, rhythm, or connection with his teammates. It's a delicate balance, and honestly, I'm not sure they're handling it the right way. News 2. Win over Giants hurts 2026 draft position. If that shocked you, wait till you hear this. Massively complicated the team's 2026 draft plans. Before the game against New York, Washington held the number 6 overall pick. After the win, and if you think 2 spots don't matter, you're dead wrong. In the top 10, every pick is crucial. It's the difference between landing a generational talent or settling for a solid prospect. Between Travis Hunter or Teddy-Roll McMillan. Between Will Johnson or Caleb Downs. So I got an ASK. The defense is full of holes. The O-line needs upgrades. The receiver room outside number 17 is shaky. And don't even get me started on the backfield. Just 2 of those are in the top 100. TWO. You think you can rebuild a whole roster with 6 picks? Especially when, historically, maybe 2 or 3 of those guys become immediate starters and the rest are long-term projects? The smart move for a rebuilding team like the Commanders is obvious. Trade down, stack picks, take more swings. More picks mean more flexibility in later rounds. But here's the problem. But when you fall to number 8, your pick loses value, and so does your leverage. I think Adam Peters and his crew are in a brutal spot. You can't ask a locker room to tank. That kills culture, ruins trust, and creates a toxic vibe. And the irony? That win wasn't even convincing. It was an ugly, sloppy game with costly turnovers that almost handed it back to the Giants. It wasn't dominance. It wasn't proof this team is improving. It was just one bad team beating another bad team by making fewer mistakes. Now, to be fair, there's a case to be made that even at number 8, someone like Caleb Downs or Jeremiah Love could fall to Washington. Downs, the safety from Ohio State, is exactly the kind of impact player this defense needs. Love, the Notre Dame running back, could bring the explosive element this offense has been missing all year. But here's the risk. What if they don't fall? What if the 7 teams ahead of you want the same guys? Then you're stuck with Plan B, the guy who's good, but not elite. The prospect with upside, but also question marks. And when you've only got 6 picks total, you can't afford to settle. Here's what I think. Peters has to be weighing every possible scenario. Stay at 8 and take the best player available. Trade down and stockpile picks, even if the return isn't as juicy as it would have been in the top 5. Or make a bold move and trade up, sacrificing future capital for a must-have guy. And here's the harsh truth no one wants to admit. Washington still has 3 games left. 2 against the Eagles, who are fighting for playoff seeding, and 1 against the Cowboys, who are also in the hunt. 4-13 might sneak them back into the top 5. Maybe even top 3 if other results break their way. Suddenly, all those draft worries disappear. Suddenly, you've got access to elite talent. Suddenly, you've got real leverage to trade back. But at what cost? Ending the season on a 12-game losing streak. Completely killing any momentum or confidence the locker room might have built. Heading into the offseason with a cloud of negativity that scares off free agents. I think there are no easy answers here. This is what life at the bottom of the league looks like. Every decision has consequences. Every win is bittersweet. Every loss hurts, but might bring you closer to a long-term fix. What I do know is this. Peters can't repeat the Chris Olave mistake. He can't fall in love with a draft slot and miss the chance to build capital. He can't be so conservative he misses out on a transformational player. But he also can't be so aggressive he mortgaged the future for a prospect who might not pan out. News 3. Sam Cosmi praises offensive willpower, and that's still not the wildest part. While the front office juggles quarterback decisions and draft strategy, the offensive line is finally celebrating something that should have been the standard all year. Physical dominance in the run game. Sam Cosmi, the offensive tackle finally back from injury, couldn't hide his excitement after the win over the Giants. And when you hear what he said, you get why this win flawed, as it was meant so much to the big guys up front. Believe me, I love running the ball, Cosmi said post-game. Everything pointed to a ground and pound battle. And the Commanders answered the call. Jaquarii Crosky-Merritt and Jeremy McNichols combined for 27 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown. It's not just about rushing yards. It's about setting the tone. It's about softening up the defense. It's about opening up play action. Explosive plays we had. That's what complimentary football is all about, Cosmi explained. And he's right. Terry McLaurin had 69 yards and a 51-yard touchdown. Sinnott had a 36-yard catch that nearly iced the game. Those plays don't happen in a vacuum. They happen because the O-line established the run. Because the Giants' defense had to respect it. Because Mariota had clean pockets to execute play action and hit open targets. I think the most impressive part was Crosky-Merritt's resurgence. I just remember my rookie year, and I felt like my head was spinning most of the season, he admitted. So to see that, to develop young players, we need that on this team to build future cornerstones. Those words say a lot about this locker room's mindset. Despite the 4-10 record, despite being out of the playoff race, despite all the injuries and adversity, these players are still thinking about the future, still investing in the young guys, still laying the foundation for what they hope becomes a competitive team. But here's what's got me thinking. Cosmi also talked about McLaurin's fourth-quarter touchdown, that perfect 51-yard strike on 1st and 20. Most would expect the OC to just try to get a few yards back, he said. Instead, he called a dagger, and Mariota dropped a dime between two defenders that Terry spun into the end zone. That play shows what this offense could be when everything clicks. Kingsbury being aggressive at the right time, Mariota executing, McLaurin making elite plays, the O-line giving him time, everything in sync. But you know what the problem is? Those moments have been way too rare this season. Inconsistency has been the defining trait of this 2025 offense, and Cosme knows it. Today wasn't easy, but we got it done, he said. It's my first win since coming back, so it feels good. Finally getting a win no matter how ugly means something. I gotta ask, is that enough? Is having the right mindset and effort enough if the results aren't there? Because at the end of the day, this is a results business. Doesn't matter how much you love running the ball if you only win 4 games. But you also can't ignore the value of culture. You can't underestimate having guys who care, who compete, who invest in the next generation even when the season's lost. That's the foundation of a winning program. The problem is, the Commanders have been laying foundations for years. At some point, you gotta start building the house. At some point, the promise has to become reality. So there you have it, Commanders fans. 3 stories that show exactly where this franchise stands right now, and an O-line celebrating physical dominance that came 8 games too late. What do you think about shutting down the quarterback? Right move for his long-term growth, or are they stealing valuable reps? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay locked in on every move, every decision, every headline that shapes this team's future, subscribe to the channel right now. Because I promise you, these next few weeks, with 3 games left and off-season decisions looming, there's going to be more explosive news you can't miss. This is a family, and families stick together through the highs and the lows. So join this community, be part of the conversation, and let's follow every step of this journey as we rebuild the Washington Commanders.